Welcome to John Makes Beats, where John makes beats. I'm your host, Gary, and today I want to show you something I've been working on. I've been thinking a lot lately about the biggest creative problems music producers are having today. And the big one is this. You finally get some time to work on something. You sit down and turn on your studio and you stare at the blank page of opportunity and potential and you think, wow, I could do anything right now. And then you do nothing. Trust me, I've been there before. You spend about 10 minutes scrolling through presets, you decide all of this is a little overwhelming, and you shut everything down and say, I'm gonna go watch some anime. This is a big problem, and it's becoming increasingly common. And I find that really interesting, considering that we currently live in a world of endless sample packs and drum kits and loop services and paid courses and free lessons, all designed to remove friction from the creative act. But then it got me to thinking, what if the problem isn't that there's too much friction during our creating? What if the problem is there isn't enough? Hey everybody, John here. I'm watching back the footage that Ghery sent me, and while he did a really good job explaining the game and what it's like to play it, he didn't actually talk about what it is, which I think is pretty important. So this is Super Beat Maker. This is a tabletop RPG, like Dungeons & Dragons, except it's designed for one player. It's a game meant to be played specifically by musicians and music producers while they're working on music in the studio. And when you finish a run of the game, you end up with a song. And just like how Dungeons & Dragons uses rules to create structure for collaborative storytelling amongst a group, Super Beat Maker uses rules in order to create structure for when you're making music in the studio. And this comes in the form of pressure and consequences. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, why would I want to make making music harder for myself? Isn't that the opposite of what I want? That's a fair question. And my answer is, it's my belief that reacting to constraints and unplanned situations is the antidote to the problem that Ghery was talking about at the beginning of this video. I believe a lot of the time when we can't get ourselves to make music, it's not because we're not inspired, it's because we have too many choices. It's the same logic behind what made it easier for us to choose what movie we were going to watch before Netflix and streaming services showed up. Sometimes now I have every intention of staying in at night and watching a movie, and then I turn on Netflix and I'm scrolling to see what my options are, and before I know it, it's 3 hours later and I have to go to bed. And I'm just like, what the hell happened? Well, I feel like the same thing happens in the modern day music studio. And this is a relatively new problem, but new problems require new solutions. And this is mine. This system was inspired in part by roguelike video games like The Binding of Isaac, which I got re-addicted to last year. It uses a simple system with dice rolls to be able to provide a nearly endless combination of situations to react to creatively. And I'm really excited for Ghery to show you how it works. Take it away, Ghery. In Super Beat Maker, your studio is now a dungeon. You're not having a session in your studio, you're doing a run through the dungeon. This dungeon is full of challenges and obstacles that you're going to have to adapt to and overcome to survive. When you create a new project, you're starting a run, and imagine yourself at the entrance of this dungeon. Whenever you create a new layer or a new track for your beat, you're entering a new room. So for every layers or tracks that you have in your beat, that's how many rooms are in the dungeon. So right now, I'm entering room 1 by creating the first track. When you enter a new room in the dungeon, a couple things happen. First, before anything else, I have to decide and commit to whatever type of track it's gonna be. If it's gonna be drums or a sample or piano chords, I have to say that and I have to stick to that. So right now, in the first room, I'm gonna say this is gonna be a drum track. Normally, if you were just making a beat, you would select some sounds, sequence them, and then be on your way. But in Super Beat Maker, each time you enter a room, that room is going to restrict how you compose. These restrictions are called mutations. And how you decide which mutation is gonna apply to that track, you have to decide a number randomly from 1 to 100. There's a couple ways to do this, but I like to use percentile dice. These are both 10-sided die, and one of them is going to represent the 10s, and one's going to represent the 1s. So when you roll them together, you get a percentage. I rolled a 47. Now, when I was designing the system, the last thing I wanted to do was force people to carry a big old book and have to flip through while they were playing. That doesn't seem very fun. So once you understand the rules and all that, everything that you need to reference during a run is on this sheet of paper that's included with the document. So I can see on the mutations table that 47 is may only use one effect. That's not too bad. Trust me, it can get a lot worse. All right, so now that I know my limitation and I know my track type, time to build the track. Now I could either go with a break or some one-shots. It's up to me. So at this point, I think I'm gonna wanna do one-shots. Okay, I got some drums, so let's get something down. Okay, I have 2 bars of drums down. The way Super Beatmaker works is, once you're ready to move on from one room to the next room, you better be happy with what you just did on that track, because once you move from that room, that track becomes what's known as finalized. There's not much you can do to a track once it's finalized. You can't add new effects, you can't change parameters, you can't add any new musical information to the track. You can change the volume and panning of the track. You can change the timing of notes or delete them, but that's about it. But I think I'm happy with this as it is. It's a little repetitive, but later down the line when I try to fit, a 4-bar chord progression or something like that on it, and I decide to duplicate it to lengthen the loop, I'll be able to do dropouts and stuff to add some variety. Before I move on though, the one effect I am going to add, which, my mutation said I could add one effect, is I'm actually going to put a mono sum on the snare. It's a little off center for me, so I'm going to use that to make sure it's right in the center. I'm also going to make sure that the noise at the end decays out. I also just add a little extra snare at the end of the second one so that I add more variety. You gotta think about stuff like that when you know you can't touch it later. Now before I move on to the second room of this dungeon, I'm gonna roll to see if I get a power-up. So this system isn't just a list of prompts and restrictions. It's actually a game where the user also has moves that they can use to mitigate the risk of what's being thrown at them. So let's take a look and see if I get something. If I roll anything above a 75, that means I get a power-up. Look at that, 79, that's awesome, this is great. See right here it says gain 1 power-up. Now I have a point that I can cash in at any time to use one of my 4 power-ups. And when I use one of those, we'll cross that bridge. Now that we've done all that and I got my drums, let's move on to room 2. By creating a new track, I'm going to be moving into the second room. So now that I'm in room 2, let's say that I want this to be electric piano chords. Now here's something new. For every room beyond the first room, each room has a chance of being cursed, which is not good, obviously, from the name. So what does that mean? Well, curses are different than mutations. Mutations are affecting the things that you're about to do. Curses affect what you already thought was set in stone. So it can affect tracks that happened before, or it can affect your whole mix. They're just bad trouble all around. But unlike mutations, curses don't always happen. Not every room is cursed. You have to roll to find out if it is. So let's do that. 93. Yeah, this room's cursed. Well, obviously that's going to affect the first room, so let's roll to see how it gets cursed. 86. Delete the last bar of the track. Oh no, that's not good, man. All right, well, unfortunately, this drum pattern is only 2 bars, so if it's going in the trash, that's not good, man. What we could do is we could split things up and make it a halftime track. It's probably what we're going to have to do, which is not the end of the world, honestly. Well, that's kind of funky, actually. I don't mind that at all. And I wouldn't have done that before. Now that we've applied that curse, let's see what mutation is going to affect our chords. 53. Must pass through a low-pass filter at 1 kilohertz. For an electric piano, that's not the worst fate in the world. All right, before we start choosing the sound, let's just put a blanket low-pass filter on there, huh? That sounds pretty good. What I am going to do to combat that, though, is I'm going to put a channel strip on here, and we're going to find, 2K. And because low-pass filters kind of have a slope, if I bring up this gain, I'll be able to get some of that back. Yeah, look at that. And because now we're losing the high end of the electric piano, I'm going to take out some of the lows a little bit, more like the low mids. We're just going to record and see what's up. I like that. I think it plays into what the drums became. That's pretty hard. I like that. This is an 8-bar piano section. So the arrangement is now 8 bars long. That's 2 rooms, 2 mutations, 1 curse. I still got a power up in tow. Let's see if I get another one. That'd be crazy if I do. It's a 25% chance that I even get one. 98. Oh my gosh. Man, there's a 3% chance that you get 2 power-ups whenever you roll for them. So right now I've got 3 power-ups. That's crazy. This is crazy. I don't think I've ever had this much luck with power-ups on a run so far. This is crazy to get this on camera. So before we move to room 3, I am going to want to spend one of these power-ups since I have 3 of them. I have 4 options when it comes to how I can use these power-ups. Right now, I want to use room lock. I can do this 1 time per run, and I'm going to prevent a track of my choice from future target curses. Things that are essential to your track, you might want to choose one of those and lock it if you have a power-up. So the room I'm choosing to lock is room 2, which is track 2. That's the electric piano. The drums are really important, but that piano, I'm going to build everything around that progression. So I want to make sure that it survives for the rest of the run so that way I can continue to do that. So track 2, room 2, that is locked. And now I'm down to 2 power-ups. So now let's go to room 3. I'm going to create a new track, and I think this one I'm going to want to make my bass line. Now that I have the chords, I have enough information where I can, I think, make like a nice bass for all this. Let's see what happens. And this room, is this room cursed? The last room was cursed, so 80. It is definitely cursed. Well, again, since the second track is locked and can't be targeted, that means there's only one other track that can be cursed, which is the drums again. Oh, man. Okay, all right. Let's see what happens. 30. Apply flanger or chorus. Oh, man, that kind of sucks. On curses or mutations where you have to apply an effect and it doesn't specify how much, you have to roll to see how much is the wet percentage. So whatever this percentage is going to be how much of the chorus or flanger is going to be on the drums. So this could... Man, I really want a low roll. 80, come on, man. I quit. Well, let's go back here and let's see how this is going to ruin things. Let's try both. I want to try either a chorus or a flanger, and let's just see which one sounds more forgiving. I mean, that's not the end of the world, honestly. And I'll see how the chorus sounds. With the delay of the chorus, it almost kind of sounds like a weird delay on it. And because the drums are so sparse, it doesn't really ruin the vibe. It makes it different than what I wanted, but it doesn't ruin it. You know what? Let's lean into it. Not that I have a choice. Now that I did that, let's roll for a mutation and see how my bass line is going to be constrained. 80. No mutation. Man, that's lucky. Considering that I've been cursed 2 times in 3 rooms, I'd say that's a fair trade-off. So I guess I get to program this bass line however I want. I think this bass needs a little bit of a compressor because it's chugging. By taking down some of like the spikes, I'll be able to turn it up overall and it'll have more presence in the track. Yeah, fire. So we have 3 tracks. We entered 3 rooms and that's 3 mutations, 2 curses. 2 curses in 3 rooms is crazy. And partridge in a pear tree. So we're going to start a 4th one. The thing about power-ups, and the reason why I'm not rolling for one right now, is whenever you use one in your run, the next time that you have the opportunity to roll for one, you don't get to. What that amounts to is a risk-reward system, where the more power-ups you use in your run, the less opportunities you have to roll for them. And there's some pretty helpful ones here. One lets you redirect what track receives a curse. One saves you from a mutation, but it gives you a curse. And one lets you split potentially devastating curse effects between 2 tracks at half strength each. None of these power-ups were designed to be abused. Each one is context specific and can really save your skin if you're in a bad situation. Let's start another track. And this one, I think I want it to be a flute. Let's call it a flute. We're gonna do a flute. So now we're creating track 4, we're entering room 4. You can see the loop here. So let's roll to see if this room is cursed. 58. Thankfully not. Good. I was kind of getting tired of that. Let's see what this flute has to do, though. 43. Must pass through delay before composing. Okay, that's not what I was thinking, but we could do that. How much of a percentage does the delay need to be in terms of the wet and dry mix? 55. All right, so it sounds like it's going to be more of like a sparse flute melody. Mellotron has a flute, I know. All right, I dig that flute. Now we got to put a delay on the track. And the mix has to be 55% wet. And I think what I want to do is I kind of want to do a call and response sort of flute. Okay. So now that we have that, let's see how we can fit this in here. That I'm happy with. I like that a lot. I wouldn't have thought of doing that, but I like it. Maybe adding another effect to just make it feel a little bit less dry. Probably a reverb. Yeah, I like that a lot. I might take out the repetition of each part of the melody later on, because right now it's call, response, response. But for right now, that hits for me, so I'm gonna keep going. That means track 4 is done, and room 4 is about to be done. Let me see if I got a power up. And we're rolling 67. No, it's okay. Right now, I think we're in a pretty good position, and that's like the worst thing to say when you're playing this system. I have 2 power-ups that I can use as, pain mitigation, that sort of thing. So let's just keep moving. Okay, honestly, after these 4 rooms, we could probably call it, but there's a couple other things I want to do, so I'm going to keep pushing my luck. With Super Beatmaker, when you decide the run is done, it's done. Unless there's some additional forced rooms that happen via a curse or something else, after you think that you're done with the track, you can call it. A dungeon could be 1 room, it can be 20 rooms. It's up to you. But for me right now, it's going to be at least 5 rooms. We're going to start a 5th track, and this one is going to be a synth lead. So let's create that track. And now we got to see if that room's cursed. 22. Now what's the mutation? What compositional constraint do I have on this track? 76. Only use effects that haven't been used. Okay, so I can't use delay, reverb, compression, EQ, filter, or chorus. That removes a lot of what I would like. All right, let's see if we can get a lead going without any of that stuff. All right, that's cool. Let's do that. Man, I really badly want to have a reverb here, but I guess I can have stereo width here. So room 5 is done. This is the problem here. This is where I start to get a little bit worried, because I have one more idea that I want to do, but I know if I attempt fate, I might mess everything up. I can't let it go. I need to have some sort of like string or like long drone in the background for the chorus part, and I'm gonna need to do it. Room 6, let's go. Let's roll to see if I got a power up in room 5. 71, none. That's okay. I still have 2, honestly. This dungeon is being awfully nice to me today. Okay, so room 6, I think I'm gonna want some sort of string instrument. All right, you know the drill. Let's see if the room's cursed. 89, player's choice. So I get to basically curse any track I want, except I have to make another roll to see if it's that track or around that track. So let's see. Man, I've got to be strategic about this. The drums can be touched. The electric piano can't. That's the room that's locked. The bass, I really don't want the bass to get hit. All right, I'm going to choose the most recent track. I'm going to choose the lead, and let's see if that's the track that gets cursed. 2, no, it's the one before it, the flute. Not what I wanted, but all right. Let's see what curse happens to the flute. 100, re-roll twice. No, God. 2 curses happen to the flute. This is not good. Oh no. 55, declaring the run over, roll a D100 on 51 or above, force another room. Okay, so what that means is when I'm done and I declare the run over, there's a 50% chance that it's actually not over and that I have to do another room. Okay, I can live with that. What's the other one? 84. Delete the first bar of the track. You know, that's actually not that bad. So if we go in here and I delete these, this is what we're left with. I mean, it kind of exposes the lead in a way that I don't like. The reason why that note works so well is because you had the flute melody, da, 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 right? So now it just kind of sounds, something's missing there. I didn't think that would be so bad, but actually I hate that. Let me move some of these notes. Tracks that get locked, you could still move notes around and you could still delete notes. I'm going to delete those notes because actually they don't work if the flute's not there. Yeah, that sounds better. Well, you know what? Not all of those notes were the same velocity. So if I actually find whatever the lowest velocity note of these are, which is probably this one in the middle, and I get rid of the other ones, I can move this back. There we go. That's a lot better. That's not too bad. All right, now more than ever, we do need something else though, because that really leaves a gap in the composition. I said we were going to do strings, so let's do strings. Studio strings. All right, so those were the curses. I didn't know that those 3 notes would have made a huge difference with the flute, but man, it really does. All right, so let's see what mutation we have for the strings. 21. Must be programmed on a step sequencer. Oh man, that's not what I wanted at all. I mean, I can do it. It's not too bad. Honestly, not too bad. It's just sparse. It's sparse notes, so it's actually not that bad. Okay. Man, working this way really reveals to me how much I love to play on the keyboard more than this. This is kind of brutal. This is not too bad, honestly. Okay, I think I got the strings the way I want them. I want to include some sort of like lo-fi effect on them. And maybe like an auto pan to make sure it has more motion. And now I'm hearing like some sort of like vocal sample or something. I don't want to leave that up to chance. I know one of the curses that I rolled said after I'm done, I may not be done. There might be an additional last track that I have to do, but I want to make sure that I get this in. So I think I'm going to go room 7. Let's do it. And do I get to power up this room? No, that's fine. Honestly, I have a surplus of power-ups. This never happens. All right, room 7, let's do it. I want to create some sort of vocal sample to go on top of this. I'm not sure if it's going to be some sort of sound effect type of vocal sample or if it's going to be melodic. I haven't decided yet. I kind of want to be more of like a sound effect or like, like a lyric from like a rapper or something. Okay, this is room 7. The last room was cursed twice. Let's see if this is cursed once. I wouldn't like either of those things. 2. Okay, good. Good. Okay, all right, we're gonna roll a mutation for this vocal sample. Let's see. 39. Oh man, that is kind of rough, man. There can be no silence in the track. That's not the track where you don't want constant noise. Oh no. What do I even do? I don't even know what to do. I don't have anything in my power-ups that would fix this. That's kind of wild, man. How do I make this work? God, I wish I said melodic. I need to have a vocal effects track that has no silence in it. Okay, let's go shopping. I mean, maybe I can have an acapella going on. That's not too bad. A big L acapella would be pretty cooler. And then here at the start, before bar 1, we're going to insert 1 bar. And then here I can start the acapella before the beat starts, technically. And since this track can't have any silence on it, I'm just gonna spam the, you know what I mean? So let's see what's going on.
Yo, spark up the Phillies and pass the stout. Make it quick, money grip, blow your asses out. In a street brawl, I strike men quicker than lightning. You seen what happened in my last fight, friend? I then. L's a clever threat, a lyricist who never sweat. Comparing yourself to me is like a Benz to a Chevrolet. And clown rappers, I'm bound to slay. I'm saying hi to all the cuties from around.
It's kind of fire. All right, so after 7 rooms, 7 tracks, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm ready to call it quits. But if you remember one of the curses I rolled earlier, they want me to roll these 2 dice. And if the result is 51 or higher, I'm gonna have to force another room, which means some other bad stuff might happen. So let's see. 10. Thank God. If you played this game, you know that every single time you put yourself in harm's way, it could really mess up what's going on. So I'm gonna call the run here. That was Super Beatmaker. Now, of course, I couldn't show you everything that's in Super Beatmaker. In fact, just on this one piece of paper, there's enough combinations of runs that is nearly infinite. So also in Super Beatmaker is a bunch of optional content like character classes, a campaign mode, and so much more. Things that I'm also still working on, which leads me to say that this is not yet finished and ready for print. This is currently in closed beta. It's definitely playable, but I'm still working on it. And playtesters help me out in getting it finished. So if you want to be a part of that, you can become a member of this channel and you'll get access to the document, and you'll be able to send me your runs and your logs of how you're playing, and that I can use that for further development. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want more videos about Super Beatmaker, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
One in your belly, leave you smelly, then take your belly. I'm the neighborhood lamper, Punani vamper. Mess around, you find my silk boxes in your mommy sample. And nowadays, girls want you for your money. I'm like, half, I got nothing but love for you, honey. And since I'm looking slick and my pockets are thick, I need surgery to get chicks removed from my